One of the oldest organizations in the world, SK Gaming. Super excited to be talking about these guys. I've been rooting for them since I was in like the 5th grade, literally. SK's been around since 1997. Really slick. They used to be in Smite. Used to be Reels' team with Badger. Not so anymore. Reels doesn't even play Smite anymore yet. But I'm very excited to have SK back in the mix. Love that org. Love the people at the org. Shout out to Curly Chan if she's watching. Just a lot of, just the black and white. Everything about SK is really cool to me. So I'm really excited to see them back in the scene. Their roster, I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm not going to be excited, but this is it. Funball's playing Hunter with Badger next to him. Lobster's in the middle lane. Fails in the jungle. Ducky over there in the solo, kind of like upside down. But what can you do? All right, let's do this. I love Papa Lob. Lobster, I think, is continuously just a good mid laner. There are mid laners that are better than him. He has standout picks that when he plays them, he looks like he could be number 1, number 2 mid in the world. You're not going to get that every game. You're not going to get that on every god, but he will always be good. Very rarely, I challenge you guys, very rarely does Lobster have a bad game. He's always good. And I say this a lot about players I said this about Aquarius, how you can always kind of depend on him to be like pretty okay, average, good enough, right? Notice I didn't say Lobster was good enough. Lobster is an above average mid laner. This guy really is the real the real stuff, just not numero uno all the time. So you're going to consistently get an above average game from Lobster, and sometimes he goes bonkers, right? That's dope. He's also an Agni player, which is really dope because right now Agni's really powerful. Shout out to Lobster. So I think having him in the mid lane right now is really important. I think your mage is important these days, and it's very, very strong that he's in the mid lane. His jungler fails. Again, excited, but not super excited. I think that's my like whole tagline for this team. SK Gaming. Whoa, but okay. Right? Like, all right, that might be pushing it. I don't know. I'm not that clever, okay? But my point is that, like, SK is a team that's like, yeah, you know, these guys can do it, or they'll just fall flat. It's not, you're not looking at a guaranteed win here. And Fails is kind of that guy. You're not looking at a guaranteed GOAT here, but Fails has consistently been really strong throughout his career. Let me rephrase that. He's consistently gotten stronger throughout his career. I don't think he's a top jungler, and I think it'll take him a lot of work to get there if that's what he wants to do. It is. But I think that he's good enough. Here's where I'm a little worried, is that I think that Season 5 is going to be extremely jungler-driven. I think this is going to be a jungle-driven league, and I don't know if Fails is the guy. He's good, but I don't know if he's the guy. And when you have Adapting and Andenster and Captain Twig, they're the guy. They can run that game. Can Fails run the game? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've seen it, but I've also seen the opposite. I don't think Fails is bad, but I don't know if he can be the guy. I don't know if he can be the main carry. And that's my trepidation on this team. I like what Ducky's done. Ducky, I think, is similar to Fails, very similar to Fails. I think Ducky and Fails are same person, different position. Where Ducky is good, yeah, sure, I've liked him. Yeah, nothing really offends me from Ducky, but I don't think that he's numero uno. Very rarely does he blow me away, but I do think he's a positive force. I don't think he's a bad player, so he belongs on this roster. Badger, it's been a minute. We'll see how he works out. He's the biggest question mark on this roster for me. He wasn't my favorite support when he was very active once upon a time, talking Season 1 and beyond and Season 2. But maybe he's different now. We'll see. He's a different person. Maybe he'll be a different player as well. But he's definitely, Badger's definitely the largest question mark for me, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to, do it. Not sure he won't be able to do it. This guy is an unknown at this point. It's been years. Funball, on the other hand, kind of the opposite. Excuse me. Funball, I think, is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting on this team, which kind of sucks because Hunters aren't the strongest right now. Funball and Lobster are going to be the bigger guys. They're the veteran force in this team. Fails and Ducky have been around. Badger obviously played once upon a time, but has taken in a hiatus. Funball and Lobster have been here pretty much since minute one. Lobster going all the way back, way back to Amaranthine days. Funball played Team Coast at launch tournament, right? Like, these guys have been around the block, and they're going to be a really big deal for this team, both in that sort of off-the-field bench veteran leadership type way, and also gameplay-wise. Funball, I think, is dependable. I think he's a step up talent-wise from players like Fails and Ducky, and I think he's a guy that can absolutely carry a game. It's unfortunate that, we'll see. My whole statement about this being a jungler-driven league, this is very interesting for SK Gaming. Maybe Fails just turns out and all this is like, who cares? But I think that Funball and Lobster are going to have to lead this team. The league might be jungle dominated, but Funball and Lobster for SK Gaming are going to have to be the hard carries for the squad every time they take the field. So I think you're going to see a scenario kind of like Elevate. I used to yell at people for calling Elevate a one-trick pony and calling their setup a strategy. It was a play style. And I think we're going to have to see a play style adaptation from SK Gaming in the same way, in that junglers will lead most other teams. Mid and Hunter have to lead this team unless Fails really grows up in Season 5 and becomes a superstar, which I'm not writing out. As I said, Fails has consistently gotten better. I don't think we've seen him stagnate or take a step back, but Funball and Lobster are the guys from this team, and this team is going to have to win out of the left side of the map as well as the mid. That's where they're going to have to find their wins. If SK can do that, this will be a winning team. Big picture, going up against squads like Rival and Obey and Energy and Dignitas, tough. Really tough. It's a 6-team league, and I see this team in the bottom 2, but that doesn't mean in past seasons if you were bottom 2, we were just bad. There's a good team. I just don't think that they are World Championship, #1 caliber, going to beat Rival and Dignitas on a consistent basis. I'm still excited as hell to watch them play, and I think this is, perhaps more importantly, a really good opportunity. I think this team has great legs to grow. Players like Fails and Ducky have been trending upwards, as I said. This is the 3rd time I'm saying this. But as long as this team, this is a quality team that can stick around. I hope Badger is going to be similar in the sense that this team wants to play well. They want to improve. Some pros kind of seem wishy-washy at times. Funball and Lobster, in my opinion, have always been about they're always on their bullshit. I've never seen Funball or Lobster take off or stop caring, right? These guys give a damn. I think that's an infectious way to do things. Fails and Ducky are going to benefit from that type of mentality from this team. And I think that this is a fun team to watch become a better team. Will, at the end of the year, they be able to compete with the best of them? Who knows? We've seen Rival. We've seen Hungry for More. Maybe SK Gaming is going to be the next one. But for right now, this is the bottom 2 team, despite the fact that they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to improve. And damn, I just like SK Gaming. Also, shout out to Fails for always hanging out during FPL. Just a solid dude. Definitely a friend of mine. I like this squad. They're going to be fun. That's it. I'll catch you next time. Peace and much love to you. Boom, 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 That's it. It's the outro.